Hello students, this is your favorite Subhash sir here. Today we are going to start our class 9th chemistry first chapter. As you all know, due to the pandemic coronavirus lockdown, we have no classes due to the government restrictions. So my request to all of you also, stay safe, stay healthy, and we are going to arrange for you all kind of help for your chemistry and other subjects. Now students, what is chemistry? You all have some brief idea about chemistry in your class 7th and 8th. Now if you want to learn about chemistry, the major term that comes to our brain is that chemistry, it is the study of matter, its composition and the transformations that take place in our surrounding. So the word that comes to our mind is matter. Now you have got already know that what is matter. Matter is anything that has mass, occupies space, and it can be perceived by our senses. Remember this. If you ask a small child also, he will say that the matter is something that has mass and occupies space. Another thing I am adding up there, it has to be perceived by our senses. So matter is anything that has mass, occupies space and can be perceived by our senses. Now this matter is made up of what? The major characteristic of matter is that it is made up of very small particles called as molecules, which are in turn made up of further smaller particles called atoms. So first we should write molecules, which in turn are made up of atoms. Okay, we have already studied about the three states of matter, and if we want to read the various form of matter, matter can exist in any of these three forms. It is in the, if we talk about the purity, the pure ones are the elements and the compounds, and we have the impure ones are called the mixtures. Now what is an element? See, element, it is the simplest form of matter and it is the purest form of matter. Remember this, it is the simplest as well as the purest form of matter. Now since since ages, there have been quite a lot of research that have gone into the discovery of elements, and we have more than 100 number of elements that we are studying, and they have been given various names for the easy study, for the proper systematic study. Okay, but this naming or the nomenclature of the elements, that has not suddenly come about. There has been a gradual evolution of the naming of these elements. How this has come about? See, when the alchemists were there, at the time they also used to give some pictographic symbols to the elements which were present at that time. After that we got John Dalton, who actually had used the symbols like this, use these symbols to describe the elements for hydrogen and oxygen. But later on it was Johann Berzelius who actually stated that the name or the symbol of the elements will be given as per their name or as per the first letter of the name. And also there were some Latin names also there which did not follow Johann Berzelius theory, but still somehow the process which was laid out by Johann Berzelius, it laid the foundation for the further nomenclature of elements, and which is accepted by the IUPAC also, that is International Union for Pure and Applied Chemistry. Okay, now we will learn about these symbols. Remember, the symbols are very important. Now what is a symbol? In short, we can say it is the shorthand representation of an element. What is it? Shorthand representation of an element. Suppose for example we have hydrogen. The symbol for hydrogen is capital H. Again, there are some other elements also where we are using the next letter also. For example, beryllium, which is capital B small e. Remember that any symbol starts with the capital letter, and if there is another letter added to it, it has to be written in the small letter. You can see I have written the small alphabet there. Okay, but there are some other elements also which have got their name from their Latin name. For example, sodium. Sodium, its Latin name is natrium, and hence comes the symbol capital N small a. Similarly, potassium also, that is kalium, that's why it has been symbolized as K, capital K. That's how the symbols have been given, and it is your duty to learn these symbols at least up to atomic number 20. Now after the symbols, another thing, that is the chemical formula. Before going into the chemical formula, let me give you some brief idea about these atoms. Now what is an atom and what does one symbol actually, what is the significance of one symbol? Let's see. Significance of a symbol. First point, a symbol signifies the name of that element. A symbol signifies the name of element. So the first point is name. So it gives the name of element. Second, it tells how many atoms of that element, or simply you can say one atom of that element. Third point, it gives the atomic mass of the element. For example, if I say, if I take sodium Na, so the symbol represents the name of the element as sodium, and it also tells me if Na is written there, then that tells me there is only one atom of Na present there, and the atomic mass of Na is as 23. That's what it signifies. Now from atom comes a molecule. So molecule, the basic difference between an atom and a molecule is that molecule is the combination of atoms, and these molecules can actually behave independently, but atoms, they may or may not behave independently. The basic difference between these two is that atom is the smallest particle of a matter which may or may not exist independently, but molecules are the smallest particle of matter which always exist independently. Now what are these molecules? I already told you molecule is the smallest particle of matter which always have an independent existence, and these are made up by the combination of various atoms that may be of the same kind or of different kind. Now if we classify the molecule on the basis of the number of atoms, okay, then we have monoatomic molecule. If the number of atom in that molecule is 1, for example is Na, sodium. Second, diatomic molecule. This diatomic molecule can exist with 2 atoms. For example, O2. Number 3, triatomic molecule. So 3, O3 we have got ozone O3. 4, we have got polyatomic, which is actually more than 3, or we can still go with 4 and 8. With like 4 we have got P4 phosphorus, 8 we have got S8 sulfur, like this. These are the classification of elements or the molecules on the basis of the number of atoms. But if what will be the classification if we classify them on the basis of the kind of atom? If you go with the kind of atom first, homoatomic molecule, that is, homo means same kind of atoms. Okay, so it is O2, H2, P4. These are all, you see, they have got the same kind of atom. O2 contains 2 atoms of oxygen, H2 contains 2 atoms of hydrogen, P4 contains 4 atoms of phosphorus. Second is heteroatomic molecule. Heteroatomic molecule, these are the molecules of the compounds. For example, H2O, we have got 2 kind of atoms. Hetero means different. We have got 2 different kinds of atoms here, H2O, CO2, HNO3. These are all heteroatomic molecules. Say students, we have just discussed about the molecules. Just like in the case of atoms, we are using symbols. Similarly, we are using chemical formula for writing down the molecules or the compounds. Now, what is this chemical formula? So, this is the shorthand representation of a molecule, or in simple terms we can say as the compound also. A chemical formula, it signifies the name of the compound. Second, the number and the kind of atoms present in the compound. It also gives us the ratio in which the atoms are combining with each other. It also tells us about the molecular the molecular mass of the compound. So 3 or 4 things that we can use here. For example, if I am taking H2O, that is water, so it tells me that the name of this is water. Second, the ratio in which hydrogen and oxygen are combining, that is 2 is the ratio of the number of atoms, that is 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. These 2 are combining. Third thing is that it tells me that there are hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms. Last thing is that it tells me about the molecular mass of this compound, that is 2 into 1 plus, that is 2 atoms of hydrogen, and the atomic mass of each atom of hydrogen is 1, and we have got 1 atom of oxygen, that is 1 into the atomic mass of oxygen, that is 16, that is equal to 2 plus 16, that is equal to 18 AMU, or simply U also you can write. So it is, these are the significance of chemical formula. So far this first chapter is concerned. I am going to finish this here in this first part. Again in the next part we will discuss some other things.